Richard Branson, in his own words. Pebble Mill, broadcast on BBC One, 15th of October, 1984.
What particular element have you got in your makeup that gives you this Midas touch?
I don't know. I think I was fortunate that I left school when I was 15 and didn't have a dad that gave me, that gave me any money and let me go out there and
Fend for yourself?
And spend it for myself.
I mean, were you conscious when you were a schoolboy that you had a particular facility for wheeling and dealing? I mean, did you want to be an entrepreneur even then?
No, I never really wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to run a magazine. I wanted to be an editor. But I soon realised that if I was going to edit a magazine, you had to sell the advertising and worry about the printers and the paper manufacturers, and so it just happened.
So is that how you started when you went to the big bad world? I mean, you started doing a magazine, did you?
Yes, I left school and came down to London, and my office was a telephone box, and I used to work out of the phone box selling advertising, and when I went through to the advertising agencies, I didn't want them to know I was working out of a phone box, so I'd ring up the operator and get her to connect me and use her as my secretary.
And you seemed to attract big names at that time for the magazine, although I think John Lennon and Yoko Ono rather turned the tables on you on one deal.
Yes, they agreed to do a flimsy disc for the front cover of the magazine, and come the day when the record was due at the printers, it didn't turn up, and I rang up Derek Taylor, and he said, "Oh dear, I forgot to."
This is an agent, presumably, is it?
He was their manager. I forgot to get it off them, and so we had 100,000 magazines with bare covers and no record, and it was the first time we had to get involved with lawyers, and our lawyers contacted their lawyers, and they finally rang back and said, "Look, we have your record." And we turned up at Apple, and we went down to the basement, and they put the record on, and it went boom, 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 boom. And Yoko Ono started crying, and their lawyer turned to our lawyer and said it was Yoko Ono's dead baby's heartbeat, and they argued that because it was a mixture of the two of them, that was sufficient for a record.
You weren't tempted to use it?
In retrospect, we should have used it. In the end, we just shook hands and remained friends, and decided to get out of the magazine business.
However, eventually you launched Virgin Records, which employed such people as Boy George and Culture Club. And the other curious thing is you always have a tendency to move into spheres that other people shy away from. I mean, when people say that the film industry is dead, you happily jump in with both feet. And in fact, you brought out 1984 quite recently to great critical acclaim. Do you ever get scared? I mean, do you ever wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night and think, my God, I've got 17 millions resting on this deal, what if they go down the drain?
Sometimes, but generally, I was being brought up in the way that you just try your hardest to make something work, and as long as you've tried very hard, if it fails, I can sleep well. And I think that's if I hadn't had that attitude, I would never sleep very well.
But have you ever made a real mess of it? I mean, have you ever? We've talked about your successes. Tell me about your failures.
Oh, we've had a fair number. I suppose the most notable was Event magazine, which was a London listings magazine we launched last year. When Time Out was aiming at it was a fairly political magazine with entertainment. I felt there was room for a pure entertainment magazine without the politics. And the day we launched, the political element left Time Out, and Event, instead of us being something different, we were like a weaker version of Time Out.
So did you collapse?
We packed it up after about 4 months.
And how much would you reckon you lost on that?
I should think about £500,000.
£500,000? Which you just laugh at now?
Well, there's nothing else I can do about it.
Well, I mean, the biggest gamble you took, I think, was the Virgin Airlines, which you launched, I think it was last June, cut-price way of crossing the Atlantic. Now, what made you think that you could survive when Freddie Laker didn't?
Well, first of all, I never said that we necessarily could survive. We examined very carefully the mistakes that Laker had made, or not just mistakes, and decided that that we felt we could make a go of it. Where he hadn't, we got a 747 instead of a DC-10. We went into freight, which.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?